Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Wednesday, April 16th, 2014. I'm Astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, we've just come out of the lunar eclipse and we're stepping into a solar eclipse in the next couple weeks because we are in, dun dun dun, the fate train zone, really intense here. Fate, destiny, karma, writing itself in very extreme ways because when we're in between eclipses, this is the most sensitive place for the earth to be and for this reality to be. So I'm going to put that out there before every horoscope that we are in some very sensitive waters. Lots of strings being pulled from behind the curtain, lots of doors opening and closing, especially if you look at the astrology. This is all about opening doors and closing doors. This is Jupiter in Cancer, perfectly in a T-square now with Uranus in Aries and with Pluto in Capricorn. And we've got Mars, which is retrograding, which is going to be trying and getting close to this opposition. So there is definitely some pressure starting to come into the doors in our life and what doors are we going to open. And it's about perception. It's about, are you going to believe in a path? Are you going to try and open these powerful doors? Today is a great day to look at that because the moon in Scorpio getting deep. That moon in Scorpio wants to go real deep into every little nook and cranny of our personal space, whether or not you're satisfied or not, because Scorpio is the sign of satisfaction, emotional satisfaction, connection. Are you feeling the connection in your life? And we're looking at relationships heavy. We're looking at what we're manifesting. We're looking at extreme changes in our life because this cardinal cross is extreme changes. So it doesn't matter where you're at in your life, who you are, the universe is really throwing you into, holy cow, I got to change a lot of things. And there's a lot of doors to open. The moon will be in a nice grand trine today as it trines Jupiter and trines Venus. So the universe is really open to opening up these deeper feelings and seeing if they're ready to open up certain doors, really looking at relationships. A moon trine Venus really is going to test your feelings over the partnerships in your life and if you are in these higher conscious relationships or not, because Venus is in Pisces, exalted and starting to trine Jupiter. And the universe wants us to open up some powerful doors in relationships, some powerful doors in what we're going to manifest here. But the problem is we have Uranus squaring Jupiter. We have Pluto opposing Jupiter. There's pressure on Jupiter. And in order for us to open the doors, we must not be afraid of wild, electric, different energy. We better be ready to make some death and rebirths happen, some big major changes. This is about signs. All this Venus energy, especially in Pisces, wants to give you higher vibrational spiritual signs. And as Jupiter is part of this and the moon, the universe really does open up a powerful door of perception if you're really satisfied or not. It will be very clear today, especially because by tonight, the moon will come over Saturn. And guess what? You will be frustrated as crap if you are not satisfied. That is a moon on Saturn. It can become frustrating. It can become very real. Saturn is super real, especially in Scorpio. It gets down to the bare bone and shows you what the raw truth really is. And it's kind of like, plus Saturn in Scorpio could be a ghost coming out and scaring you. Woo! Scorpio is the sign of ghosts and goblins and all this crazy stuff. And with Saturn here, it could be a harsh truth. The harsh truth also is going to be that your mind has probably been coming in between the actions to take. Mars, retrograding, getting ready to come into Cardinal Cross, and that puts even more pressure on Mars on which actions do we take, especially as we looked at that big lunar eclipse the other day. It's highlighting Mars, it's highlighting action, but Mercury is opposing Mars today, and it has been yesterday. So this puts everything in a stalemate. And it's your feelings, it's your deeper needs, it's your desires, it's your perception, it's the spiritual world, because this is a grand trine in water today, that even though we got this fire and we got all this ether going and we got all this energy, there's stuff behind the curtain that's telling you almost of the life that you want to live. And the universe is coming through to change your reality, to make that inner self come true. And you got to be real with that. You got to make your decisions off this now and not let your mind and your perceptions screw you from taking the actions that you have to take. Sure, we are in a Mars retrograde. So this is definitely a time where actions are very, it's warranted. It's cool to not take it right away. But if you know emotionally you should and your mind has stopped tripping out, you know what you want. It's time to start adjusting and getting prepared because the universe is about to put in a cyclone of energy that's going to pick you up and take you wherever it's going to take you anyway. So I would go with it now. And today's a day where your deeper emotional, big Scorpio feelings will give you the raw truth, and it will open the doors or not. These are powerful doors the universe wants to open, and it's whether or not you're getting in the way, whether or not you're not willing to change, and whether or not you're afraid of trying a new energy, trying something you never have before, maybe really identifying with who you are. Remember, Uranus in Aries is really doing its hard work since 2011, all the way up for, another 4, 5, 6 years here. It's really making sure that you really become the person you really are. If you're wearing a mask and underneath you're not really vibrating with that mask correctly, the universe will keep shocking the crap out of you. That's what Uranus is. It just shocks. It's the big bad wolf. It'll huff, it'll puff, it'll blow your house down. And you know what? It's blowing people's house down if you're not correctly identifying with who you really should be and who you really want to be inside. And Aries and Scorpio in a sun moon like this really highlights that. Are you living in a false, fake mask? Woo! That'll be a great way to end this horoscope. Are you living in a false reality based off a fake self that you really aren't truly vibrating from within? It's time to take a look at that today, because it could become kind of difficult by the end of today if you really don't face the truth in your life. That's Saturn in Scorpio that you'll feel. So it's a positive day because the universe is really trying to open up powerful doors, but it's all whether or not you're letting your mind get in the way, you're not paying attention to those feelings, and if you're not identifying correctly with who you should be. Check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you have any questions, or if you want to have a one-on-one reading. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I will see you tomorrow.